fired up with positive energy. Hello.
I need a drink like that.
Yes, this one?
No, the one in the video.
Oh, right? The giant drink that pours forever that isn't actually whiskey. I'm going to steal some of Justin's secret. He wouldn't waste whiskey like that, nor would he drink that much while he's working to generate that beautiful image. I wore my special shirt. For those of you who were with me at Smokies when I wore this, I will tell the story for Whiskey Friday. Yes, Comcast has caught on, but it's not 5:20 yet. It's only 4:30. We'll see at 5:20. Where'd Jamie go? Jamie's right here.
Did it just cut?
No, we're still good. Oh, really? It's going up and down. I can see it now.
Oh, it's... Yeah.
The live was cutting out. That's awesome.
Let's go to 8.
Move it down to 8. All good with Larry. It's only those on Comcast who are local. Interesting. Well, either way, welcome.
What in the world?
We are having continual fighting with Comcast issues, it seems, on Fridays. That's always awesome because, you know, we've only been doing this for a long damn time. I can watch the bars below and it's going up and down and up and down and yeah, so always something.
Yeah.
Always something. So
27% drop frames.
wow, really? 27?
27%. Oh.
Aye. What's going on, Ealing? How you doing, brother? You've been a minute. Hopefully all is well. We don't have a lot to talk about today, so hopefully we can get through it before Comcast decides that, you know, we're not worthy for our own internet that we pay for, which is great. I'll start with the story of this shirt. So notice it says, I void warranties. That's hard to do in the mirror. I'm not used to doing that, but I'll put my mic closer to my face again. There we go. That's better. This shirt is a Blip Shift shirt, for those of you that don't know. Happy Aloha Friday. Hello, Mama Adams. And the funny story with this is first time I wore it out in public, I'd had it for a minute. I went to Smokies, and this was somewhat intentional. I had my Dundon hat on. We're going to Porsche headquarters in Atlanta, and I'm in the elevator, so we're going downstairs. We're about to go to the bar and have some drinks because after the presentation, the walk around and the PEC Atlanta and all that bit was great. And in the elevator with me was a gentleman from worked for Porsche, has a Porsche badge on and all this bit. Didn't really notice what his title was. And we're just chit-chatting, and he's like, I love your shirt. I'm going to have to get a picture with you. I'm like, okay, that's great. And he noticed my hat, and he's like, he knew who Dundon was. So that was really cool. I was excited. This was a number of years ago, like at least 7. I think it was the first Smokies I went to. Anyway, this fine gentleman's responsibilities at Porsche was approving warranty claims. The irony of that was hilarious. Company that makes parts that doesn't void warranties, wearing the shirt, I void warranties, go to Porsche, meet the guy that approves or denies warranty coverage. That's fantastic. Now the reassuring thing, and the thing that we've been very proud of over the years is, where is my mic hiding? There's my mic. Okay. Make sure that stays uncovered. He was very well aware of us. Not a surprise. And he said, your guys' parts are always stellar. They fit great. no issues. You use high quality stuff. Your welds are great. Everything's great. I've seen the parts firsthand. I would never void a warranty with your parts on the car. So this was his words. I don't know if he's still in the position or not, but that was very reassuring to hear directly from the guy who it was his responsibility to make those decisions. Funny thing is, the very next year at Smokies, I wore the same shirt. I had washed it since then, so, you know, not stinky. And met the same guy in the same elevator. Pretty crazy. He had a different job at that point, so I don't know if somebody else is still as nice as he was, and if the winds of change have changed inside Porsche or not. But generally speaking, I mean, we've got a lot of Porsche dealers that install our parts, and with Manti selling aftermarket parts that are warranted inside America, their ability to portray that selling and or installing modified suspension parts or these kinds of things, you know, et cetera, yeah, exactly, Larry. I mean, they're gonna if they started to deny warranty coverage for stupid shit, like you drove your car on track. Well, I'm supposed to drive my car on track. You sell a track package for me to drive the car on track. You're going to deny my warranty because I drove it on track? You serious? If they start doing that kind of stuff, then you really know that Porsche's jumped the shark. That is a Happy Days reference as to when Happy Days was no longer a good show. For those of you who do not understand this American colloquialism, it is when Fonzie was on water skis and he jumped over a shark. That is when they said that Happy Days had lost their way and the show had turned to shit. Just in case you didn't know, a little bit of trivia from my brain that won't let me do anything else. So that's the story with the shirt. Pretty funny. Whenever I see the shirt now, it reminds me of that time. Pretty great. Ed has a question on the weather for the weekend. I will not claim to be Doug. For those of you who are not local, Dr. Doug Stedding, Dr. Doug Stedding Esquire, I should say, is our local, I was about to say proctologist, but that wouldn't be right. Was this back in the 60s? Yeah, that would have been back in the 60s, yes, when it jumped the shark. I will answer that question, Ed. Thank you for that. Dr. Doug Stedding Esquire is not our proctologist. He is our meteorologist. He's a different ologist. He might look at assholes, but I don't think he's probably trying to get money from them, not to figure out what's wrong with them. So, and if Doug joins us, I'm sure he would enjoy this conversation because he would say he looks at assholes all the time. He is also our meteorologist for our track group, and he's very good at it. Typically, when Doug says it's going to be dry, it's dry. So we actually, one of our engineers here, Philip, is also a amateur meteorologist and connoisseur of weather information because he's a snowboarder. So he is always trying to figure out when the snow's good, and I give him a bit of deference. He can work weekends and take weekdays off when the snow's good. He's actually up far away picking up a Forerunner. He's turning into me. At least that's the running joke inside the shop. I think the count was here that, yeah, seriously, back in the day when Julius Caesar crossed the Delaware on horseback with those swimming horses. So everybody was giving Philip a bit of grief because he recently crashed his truck going to Montana in the winter. He had a nice maroon. What is it? 98, 99? What year's his Taco?
I think so.
Think it's what?
I think it is.
98, 99, something like that. So I owned a 97 back in the day that I bought off the lot, and I see his truck, and I think it's a 99 or 2000 Toyota Tacoma. Those are affectionately in automotive circles called tacos. And so he rolled it. He was fine. He was disheartened because, it was his truck. It does. Honestly, it drives great. It starts right up, but the cab's crushed and the bed's tweaked and a bunch of things. It started right back up and it drove away. It was fine. So he got himself another one that he picked up down in Vancouver, but it's 2-wheel drive. It's that funny purple color that they come that's supposed to be a blue, but it kind of fades to purple. Really nice truck. Got it for a song because it didn't run. They replaced the coil, fired right up, and he drove it home. Great. Good for him. It's good to know how to fix cars when you buy cars. So Philip is up getting himself a 4Runner now. And so everybody was giving him crap that he's turning into Jamie because he's going to buy a bunch of cars that work and drive and have a bunch of cars that don't work. And hence the thing with me. They counted up the number of vehicles here at Dundon Motorsports that are owned by me, and it's 11. We need that wah, wah, wah kind of no whammies kind of shit. Anyway, my insurance bill every month reminds me of this, but it is the fact of owning a one, having an affliction, and two, owning a performance shop that requires these kind of resources, right? We've got the 997 Cup, that's technically mine. We've got the 991.2 Cup, also mine. We've got Pumpkin, it's been mine from the beginning. We've got the 992 GT3 RS, mine. The 991.1 GT3 Lab Mouse, also mine. And then we've got starting to get kind of random stuff. We've got a 996 GT3 outside that we call Shitbox that we've had for a long time. We picked up for not a lot of money, so we can do some engine swappy stuff with it when the time comes. I've got a 993 next door that some of you know what's going on with that. For those of you that don't worry about it until we're finished. We've got an orange K-Truck that I couldn't pass up on Bring a Trailer because it's really rad. RS6 is my daily. I'm driving the Aston Martin currently. Yep, we've got the V8 M3 in Portland. So S62 swapped M3 that hopefully sometime this summer I will see in real life. The boys at AR Motorsports have been taking care of that car for a number of years, trying to get it finished up for me. I believe it's at the body shop getting the paint tuned back up because they got some scrapes and stuff as they were doing stuff in the engine bay. So that's a E30 M3 with an S62 in it and a 6-speed. So that one should be super fun once it's done. I got the big red Peterbilt down in California. Anybody want a fantastic tow rig? Could put 3 cars in it. It's technically an RV, but it looks like Optimus Prime. It's a bright red Peterbilt cab over semi. Anybody interested in that? If you got a picture of that, I think Justin's got a picture of that. We'll put up a picture of that once we get there. And I've got a Toyota Japanese 2-car tow truck, JDM tow truck outside that we also use to haul cars back and forth that we put some money into. It's a little underpowered. We've got to do some things for that. Blah, 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 blah. You accumulate, right? It happens. So they were giving Philip crap because he's going to be the next one. I was like, I don't think he's going to be the next one. Be my guess. I've got a few years on him. So Ed asked the question, what are we looking forward to getting done at the Ridge next weekend? That is a great question. And thank you for the lead in, Mr. Asad. We're going to be testing a couple things. One, the 992 GT3 RS Lab Rat has some tweaks to the MCS suspension. We are testing bump springs in the rear of the car. Even when the car was on stock suspension, the rear tires under large lateral loads would rub the inner fender liner. So it's not great. It's not what you want. So when we put MCS on it, we were also seeing some rubbing in the inner fender liner. So we are putting bump springs. A bump spring is a smaller, stiffer spring that rides on the inside of the standard coil spring stack, and it is only engaged at a certain compression as the car's really leaned over. then we would want that extra spring stiffness. You might also think of it as a bump stop, but this is actually a bump spring because we wanted to give ourselves plenty of ability to control that and add spring stiffness as the car is compressing on top of it. As we add aerodynamic downforce to the car, we will need that. We will need that extra. I will be on the stock Goodyears, a fresh set of stock Goodyears because the current ones are pretty shagged. It'll be fun, Paul. I know. So let's talk a little bit about what's going on, and I'll do some plugs and help my buddies out. So this coming Friday at the Ridge is Hooked on Driving Pacific Northwest. Their first track days of 2025. There has been a change in ownership of the franchise of HOD Northwest region. Jack Ding has purchased it. I've been with David a couple times with Advanced Group Lead. He's great. So Jack Ding has purchased the franchise, and he has requested help from Paul Blake. Paul Blake has been one of the strong reasons why the Pacific Northwest PCA track days have improved dramatically, in my opinion, from the previous regime, and things are safer. People are enjoying it more. We're attracting more folks to it, which at the end of the day, for a nonprofit that is trying to, endorse the beautiful cars that we love, is important. So I thank Paul and the team at the PCA, PNW, him and Ollie and Kevin and others. It's been great. There was a time where we weren't even welcome at the PCA driving events. It was so cliquey and political and just kind of full of unnecessary drama and bullshit, in my opinion. I'm generally pretty easy to get along with, and there were some folks that were quote in charge of the PCA driving events in the Pacific Northwest that I went out of my way to antagonize. And I'll admit that. Mainly because it was just really fun to watch them ignite and go completely nonlinear. Hey, what's up, Dougie? Dr. Douglas Stedding, Esquire proctologist, has joined us. No, meteorologist, geologist, and other ologist has joined us. You'll have to go back and watch the beginning for that to make sense. That is a picture of Big Red in the background. You don't have a picture of the cool bit? Where's the front?
I don't know.
Seriously? All right, give me a second. I'm trying to sell this thing on here, and my man doesn't have pictures of the actual thing I want to sell. Give me a sec. Oh man, I got to navigate the current. Where's my album? There we go. Albums. Peterbilt. All right, here. Send him the video. One second. That's gonna come through like a potato. 1 second, y'all. We'll get there.
That's insane.
Here we go. Slack. Share with Justin. There you go. It's coming to you directly. It's a little bit of a video with it going by.
That's a lot.
Mm-hmm. Mr. Jack Ding, what's going on, brother? Jamie antagonized? What? No, I don't antagonize. I don't know what you're talking about. So yes, Mr. Jack Ding, thank you and welcome. I have been on track with you, and I'm excited for what you're going to do with HODPNW, and we are going to attend, and we're excited. We're excited for having another solid driving group in the PNW. Should be a good time. So this is, I just sent him the pictures of Big Red. What we were doing today is we were going through and getting our 991.1 ready for the track next Friday. We're also documenting the range of adjustments that you can get from your suspension when you go to our suspension arms on the 991 GT3s, mainly concentrating on the front end, camber, caster, toe, and why you would need them and what benefits they give. Also, how much easier the car is to adjust once you have installed them. Things like caster arms, our extended tie rods, and the extended camber links and outer lower control arms. These kinds of things. So that's that video will be forthcoming on the YouTube. Justin got all that filming done today, and Charles was finishing up getting the car fully aligned. We'll have Doug Stedding's old gold fin speeds on the car, along with some Goodyear Supercar 3Rs. So hopefully the weather actually is nice, because Supercar 3Rs in the wet are really not very fun. So we'll have both cars out there. The 991 is kind of a 991.2 at this point. So it has the 991.2 GT3 4-liter that we installed, and we talked about that last time. We'll be shaking that down, also testing the suspension and getting it kind of set up with all our suspension arms and tweaking some dials, along with tweaking some dials in the 992 GT3 RS. Our friend Ed will be out there with his 992 GT3 RS, and we'll have a good time, as Ed said, rain or shine. So should be a great time. We're very excited. This is our Big Red Peterbilt for anybody that's interested. This was originally built by the folks at Canepa. They have a transporter division, and this was originally made for Ferrari of Marin County, something like that. Hence the reason it's bright red. It was set up to haul Ferraris around back in the early 90s. So we put Porsches in it, but it's a bit big for us. But if nobody buys it soon, it's going to come home, because I've got a lot of money invested in this thing at this point. Had a complete engine overhaul. It's had the lift gate redone, bunch of things, new tires all around. It's fun to drive. It's just a bit much for us to get to the ridge and back, honestly. If we're going to go all around the Northwest and down to Southern California and whatnot, probably good. Anybody interested, give me a call. It is super fun, super, if you're into big toys and have the room for it, it's legit. It's got nice beige interior, leather everywhere. It was built really nice. So anywho, enough about that, me trying to sell my stuff. I'm glad that Doug has been able to join us. He was out doing his pew pew pew. Doug has recently gotten the armament bug and has been going to the range so that he can be a educated and capable Second Amendment supporter. I too am a supporter of the Second Amendment. I was actually at the range recently. For those of you who follow me personally on Instagram or Facebook, you saw my groupings with my stock G19. That was only the second time I've been to the range with that gun. So going to keep going so I can get better. And I realized, like an idiot, that my red dot actually has a left and right zeroing ability. So I'm going to work with that the next time I'm out. How about that? Doug, as he typically does for most things, hired a personal coach to help him with learning how to shoot, and said personal coach has him in some beautiful guns. And I would try to have live feeds during the car. I don't know if I can do that, but yeah. The thing I've noticed about Doug is when he needs to be educated about a thing, he doesn't fuck around about it. He goes and hires a pro and gets the education directly from them. When there's a new track, he hires the pro from that track and gets educated about how to run that track. When we went to Atlanta, he did it. When he goes to Laguna, he did it. Now that he's doing guns, he does it, et cetera, et cetera. So I appreciate that about him. I just generally go and figure it out. Probably a way to waste time and waste money, but that's kind of how I'm wired. So yeah. What else we have in here? So Paul, I missed out on our local track groups get together this past Friday. They all got together about 45 minutes from here, north of here, close to where Doug lives. So I was unable to attend. I wanted to go, was not able to go. Typical for those of us who live in the South Sound or the Olympic Peninsula. A Google Meet from your phone in the passenger seat. I like it. Do we get to have passengers in HOD? I don't know. We got the chief driving instructor for HOD and the owner, so we can probably
My phone could be a passenger.
fair. Your phone could be a passenger. That's fair. We could do a Google Meet and offer that. We could do a YouTube live from it. What audio did you get, Larry? I'm curious. Car to car and car to pit. I know there's some like motorcycle stuff that I had bought a while ago to allow to do that, but it was a little iffy as to whether or not it works. So yeah, I am curious because that's something that I'd wanted for a while, is to have kind of live, pit radio kind of thing in the car, to be able to talk to Ted or et cetera, and Ted can talk to us as he's out in the car and we're trying to test some stuff. That would actually be very helpful. He can tell us he's coming in, so we don't have to guess and watch him, and then we can go out there to pit lane and fiddle with tires. You've got my jazz hands going on over here and whatnot. So I believe, Mr. Stedding, are you coming this coming Friday? Are you going to try and make it for the HOD day? Oh, you're using Motorola radios. That's like straight up legit. Larry, can you save me a bunch of time and send me what it is you're using? That way I can just try and get it. Because if Ed wants to chat and Ted wants to chat and we got it in our group chat and we can actually make that happen, that would be super fun, right? Yeah, totally. I could hear Paul on the radio and that would just be highly distracting the whole time we're out there. But also for the advanced group, it would be good for us because then you could see who's coming. We could complain about, oh, fantastic. Thank you, Jack. That's great. Passengers are allowed. That's good to know. That's good to know and very helpful. So yeah, getting the Motorola radios together would be legit. That'd be super fun. So yeah, excited. This was kind of what our Whiskey Friday was going to be about. Was we're going to the track for the first time in 2025, and we're going to take 2 cars and we're testing shit so that we can get it out to all of you. The only other thing that we really had an update for, yeah, hell yeah, trial just got kicked. You should probably take a day off. And what better thing to do than go hang out in the garages and on track? So, oh, that's fantastic, Oris. That's good to know. That's great. Oh, I will promote that even more. Jack, we also should probably talk, and I will say this publicly, about a Dundon HOD private day, rent out the whole track. So, the Dundon, the Dundon familia, so to speak, the boys that have parts on their cars that are local, come out, have an open track day, right? We just open it up, drive your balls off, so to speak. And I'd love to be able to do that, especially if it's like kicked in with like a follow-up day, right? Like either a regular HOD day or a PCA day or something else where we can like stack the days for guys like Ed that are coming from far away, or guys like Mike that might want to come up from far away to join. That would be really cool. So always looking for those opportunities. They're great for us to test things with when we have an open day. And then it's one of the things that I help kind of push with the PCA. We've got like a super advanced day or an A++ day. Yeah, absolutely, Paul. I would partner and push that, even backstop it, like what we've done with PCA, right? Kind of the same deal. I'm willing to put my money where my mouth is, so to speak, to try it. Sorry, there we go, wire stuck. The local guys have been asking for. I'll give Jack and Paul for instance. I was talking with I can't remember his name. Local guy, Gray GT3RS, Glitterati, help me. Too bad Ted isn't here. He's in my memory half the time. Let me look through my. He is an anesthesiologist. He lives in West Seattle, and I can't remember his damn name. It's how my brain works half the time. So, give me a second. I'm looking through. I'll find him here in a second. Will Emily. Will was asking me, what are the private day opportunities? Because Will's got kind of his clan, right? Are we crapping out? Oh no, did I roll over this wire and it's like, it fucked us, or are we good?
Nope.
Oh no, we're at 4,000 kilobit. Man.
We have 5 megabit upload. Just at speed test. So we are getting throttled.
It's coming back, it looked like. Yes, Will. Yes. If you guys can actually see this, although our Comcast is getting throttled and we're not even to 520. And now we're at 0.
Our download speed is at 30 megs.
Wow. It's coming back. Kinda. We're good? You sure?
Yep.
It's not looking like it. I'm watching the little gauges and shit in the lower corner of what I'm looking at. And okay, so we're back. We'll see how long we're back. Maybe ask Ramses if he can not stream music right this second. But anyway, so Will was asking me what are the private day, full track day kind of events that are going on, because he was a Flying Husky Race King guy. That's a whole nother sordid story between Jamie, Ted, Dundon, and Flying Husky Racing, which we'll live to hear a tale another day. I think that was some leftover from the previous PCA Pacific Northwest region track glitterati that rubbed off on FHR, because we were persona non grata to enjoy that. So anyway, Might as well be running off floppies and 56K. Seriously, I mean, we're just gonna boot this in. We're gonna send it via FedEx so that we can get it to y'all, so you can see it. Anywho, Will, thank you, Paul, was asking about it, so that I know that there is a desire in the current market space for folks that if we were to announce it and put it in the window of guaranteed as much as we can in the Pacific Northwest, good weather, that we would do a good job to sell it out. I would say maybe it's 15, 20 guys, 750 a pop, something like that. I don't know, just off the top of my dome. I think having a complete open track day, or like the PCA did, a couple guys. Oof, Riker 29. That's no good. We'll talk about that. So I do believe there's an opportunity, Jack and Paul, to position your product to a specific clientele that would appreciate it. Say that. And because I hold the giant steering wheel and the lines for the sales at Dundon Motorsports, I'm absolutely willing to put my money where my mouth is. I'm not willing to buy that giant insurance package for the year that would be required for running our own track days. But that's kind of where my head's at. How can I leverage this? We've done this with a local group last year, Racer on Rails. They use it generally for driver development in the off season when it's pretty out and it is track season in the Pacific Northwest. They're off racing, so we're kind of left with a vacancy when people would want to be at the track. So anywho, Riker 29, monoball inners and end links and camber plates. So 6,000 miles. If it was 6,000 track miles, that's not horrible. If it was 6,000 street miles, yeah, that's probably not great. So we use FK is our bearing supplier. We're very engaged with them. They're very excited to be working with us. There are going to be a lot of reasons that a bearing can get some play in it. And we need to have people understand what's, quote, normal and what's excessive. So anytime you monoball a car, it's going to have more noise than when it had rubber in it. That's kind of the point. The spherical bearing is much more precise, and even a couple thousandths of play in it will create a click as you go from reverse to forward and these kinds of things. A 991.2 GT3 RS, where my experience was from in a YSOC car, will do that, right? You go from reverse to first, your car's coasting back, you put it in drive, click, and you move forward, and you can hear it. You know, it's the upper tops of the strut mounts, and a lot of the other load-bearing sphericals will take the load, they'll move back, away you go. Does that mean that they're garbage? No, that just means they're doing their job. There's just a couple thousandths of play. If they don't have a little bit of play, they won't move. So you kind of have to decide when you do this, what is acceptable for you and what's the use case of the car. And we try and do a good job when we're talking to folks about how they use the car and what is a reasonable set of upgrades for their use case. The guy that goes to the track 2 times a year is not getting the $10,000 Pro package where everything in the car is spherical bearing. Not reasonable. So, holy hell. Yeah, that is very different. So Riker says noise was not the issue. We could not align the car because the numbers would shift between when they set it and they test drive and they brought it back. Yeah, that's not good. So And we're out. Dang it.
What?
Again?
I'm live. Oh, no. It's cutting.
Is it cutting or no? We're at 5:10. We're 10 minutes D time. So Riker 29. All right, back. Okay. Good. I apologize, folks. I have Justin and I have discussed this, and we were told by Comcast this was resolved. So we stopped with our plans to go to Starlink or some other version of Friday night streaming. We can't sit on our laurels. Comcast is a pile of liars, and we are going to address it because this is kind of stupid, right? You pay for giant amounts of bandwidth and you don't get it when you want it. It's not like we stream every day, 24 hours a day. We do this for like an hour and a half on Fridays, for God's sake. So, Justin, you must call Comcast and give them an earful.
Yes.
On my behalf, please. Channel your inner Jamie. It's not your typical emotional state, but you have my my gift to you is to channel all of your frustrations from having all of your children's wanting to crush their head in the garage door to take it out on Comcast. I'm fine with that. Anywho, so Riker, I think that's a bit excessive, honestly, and we would be interested if those were our parts. I would be sending you new parts, and I'd be very interested to discuss with our bearing vendor how we can make it better if that was happening. We haven't seen that, but who knows? I don't think Territ uses the folks we do. We use FK. We use the highest grade of bearing that FK produces. Some of them they produce custom for us. All of them Teflon lined, all of the highest stainless that they offer. So Coda's a rough track, all of that said, especially if you're using a GT4, one slicks or these kinds of things. So it all is kind of comes together. We've got Cup Car guys that are writing to us so that we can upgrade their bearings as they need to get replaced for their car. So it's the throttle, dial it back. Nice. Seems our good friend, Mr. Ted Anthony Jr. has joined us. Welcome, Ted. Thank you. Last week was Ted's birthday. Everybody wished Ted a happy birthday. He's officially an adult now. He's 41. Very good. Let us know how we can help, Riker. Black Sheep is one of the preferred installers in your area. So I would certainly go see Mike if you haven't. My expectation is you probably already have, but happy to help you out. So I'm going to open this up for questions. So I got through most of all I want. Yeah, there you go. Life starts at 40. I didn't even say how old Ted was. I just said he's officially an adult. Yeah, absolutely. We've got a surprising number of lab rats at Coda, and I appreciate Barry for helping with that, and Larry for helping with that. So we've got Larry, Barry, and Matt that have large preponderance, if I'm using that word correctly, of Dundon parts on their cars. And they have GT4 RSs, but they apply equally to GT4s. So I'm excited for what happens. Really? Ed? Oh, is that sorry. Distracted by what Ed writes. I have a bit of squirrel. squirrel, something shiny. What's that? So anyway, very excited to see what this year's track season in Texas brings. Was excited to see Barry set some personal bests in the sub 220 range. PEMDAS. So the Barry getting into the 218 range was really, really great to see. I'm hopeful that between Matt's car, Larry's car, and Barry's car, that race car driver guy. Why can't I remember anybody's name tonight? Sorry, Randy Popes. Yeah, that Randy decides to come back to drive a couple cars at COTA, because I'll bet you he goes maybe a little faster than Cameron did in Ray Mort's manual 992 GT3. And for those of you that are wondering, that was a 214 and change. So 214 and change is kind of the number. Felix needs to get with the program. So we'll just say it that way. His YouTube video of all you need is Hankook slicks and a hot shoe to go fast around COTA is not serving me well with selling people parts so that their car is easier to drive. Just say that. Got a Reddit thread that I can push to Felix when he wants to come back and claim that what he says has no impact on our business. So thank you, Ted. I appreciate the help there. Ed asked a question about the new pilot. The new he was on Hankooks. The new tires, the new wets from Porsche that are only available from Manti. I think they'll be really cool. I just don't know how the hell you get them. Do they ship them from Germany? You got to call your Porsche dealer? I honestly don't know. I haven't asked. I'll say that. I don't know. They're probably great, but until we get to try them, and I'm not a fan of going to standing water on the track days myself. If there wasn't standing water in the straights, I'd be more into it, because just having it being a little damp and a little slick gets your butt calibrated for slip angle and kind of car doing things. I'm fine with that. I mean, I actually dig it. I went to Dirtfish for my birthday. My birthday's Thanksgiving time, so I went there for my birthday just after Thanksgiving. Had a great time. I want to go back. It's like super addicting for a car guy. Super fun. Little Subaru BRZ, two-wheel drive out in the gravel. It's fucking A. So fun. So fun. But yes, the tires would be great. Yeah, totally. Jump the shark. Woo! Jump over the standing water. I don't know that that's necessarily better for you and I, Ed. GT3 RSs with all the downforce jumping over shit, that doesn't end well. I'm sure of that. That really doesn't end well. But, well, holy god dang, we got to get a video with all of y'all going 218. So, seriously, Matt ran 218 flat on what tires? Because Matt's got the whole jam. He's got the Aero, and did they install his Aero yet, Larry? I thought they did. I honestly don't know. I think Mike installed all of it because we got it all to him. So Aero and MCS, and I think he has headers in the muffler. I don't know. I can't remember what everybody has. So Hoosiers all across. So Hoosier R7s all across the board. Cool. And that's fantastic. And Larry's only a 220, but Larry didn't have his aero installed on his 4RS yet. So he only has the MCS on the car. He's putting the aero on the car soon because we just shipped it. Because he had to trade in his GT4 aero for the 4RS aero. Or did we ship it? But I don't know. I'm going to stop talking. Matted stock exhaust, we should fix that so that he can have more horsepowers because it would go quite a bit faster. He might get 217 to high 216 with more horsepowers at Coda. But yeah, I'm really good at spending other people's money, so don't listen to me. I'm the guy with the 11 fucking cars over here, so yeah.
And there it is.
520. 520 lockdown. Maybe it's been shitty the whole time and isn't going to actually go completely tits up at 520.
Oh, no. You lagging.
Yep. It has been 520 every time. So for those of you who can still hear me, I appreciate everyone joining us. And we're likely going to have to sign out. Anyone who has further questions, please put them in the comments. We would love to answer your comments in our YouTube. We're still struggling growing our YouTube channel. We're only about 3,000 followers. So share it with your friends. Tell them to come and join. It's great now. That's good. That's good. I'm going to sign off anyway because I still got to go pick up dinner. It is 5:20. It was a bit of a bell when things would crash to be like, oh, it's already 5:20. I've been on for an hour. But that's good. I'm glad it's bested in. I will answer some questions until we die here. Yeah, I don't think no one else is uploading, but maybe somebody else on this particular setup that we're in is uploading a bunch of stuff. Maybe there's a basement. Yeah, I'm going to stop with that thought. Mama Adams is listening. I'm going to be good. So, absolutely, y'all. I'm happy to do it. I'm happy you guys enjoy us doing it. Anybody got any questions, parting questions before we leave? Hit me with something difficult. Oh, Jesus. I don't have any more drink to drink. It's all gone. So Doug thinks there's a sex dungeon somewhere around here that's uploading constantly. Justin can wear anything he wants. I don't care. We all need some Assure painting shirts. I want to make a version of this one that's a Dundon shirt, but is exhaust heat shielding a big deal? I'd say generally no. Mainly because as long as there's enough airflow around the exhaust, the air carries away most of the heat. Say it that way. For those that are trying to get the most out of exhaust, keeping the heat in the exhaust is good for performance. It allows that to be less viscous flow, slower pressure. It flows out a little bit easier. More of that heat's kept inside it until it reaches the atmosphere. That said, playing with nuance here. We're playing with teeny tiny bits. So I wouldn't sweat the fact that one exhaust comes with, it's wrapped or ceramic coated or this kind of bullshit, and one isn't. It's not that big a deal, honestly, in my opinion. So, and the other thing that you have to remember is those that ceramic coat and or heat shield their catalysts are asking for the catalysts to fail. This is one of the reasons we don't recommend doing that. So, Ed, hit us up if you want to know some sizes. We'll absolutely rock assured painting stuff. What is the airspeed of an unladen swallow? Thank you, Doug. Appreciate that. You asked me a hard question. Where's my chat GPT? Alexa, what is the terminal velocity of an unladen swallow? I knew somebody would take the bait. Thank you, Doug, very much. With that, I'm going to go get some dinner. You all have a wonderful weekend. I might even try and wash the Aston. I might even go out for a bike ride this fine weathered weekend. It'd be the first one of 2025 as well. And it's probably going to be quite a wake up that I haven't been on the bike since November. How about that? You all have a wonderful weekend. And I'll leave you with this last bit of parting nerdism. For those of you who are musicians, if you're ever faced with a 2-5-1 chord and you want to do something creative with the 5 chord, you can replace it with a tritone substitution or an altered chord. These are some things that I have learned myself yesterday when I was practicing my saxophone. And it has been mind-blowing. And for those of you who don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, don't worry about it. It's all good. My wife tells me to shut the fuck up, so it doesn't matter. Y'all have a wonderful weekend and enjoy yourself. Talk to y'all later.